All right, time for the very great feat of ordering 36 HSSS ingots. All right, looking good. Hello, this is Goodle. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions Remastered. As you saw in the little intro clip there, I have been working on upgrading our ABS because I did ABSify a bunch of our recipes. So anything that we were making in the EBF, the electric blast furnace, that is like some kind of alloyable metal that we can make in the alloy blast furnace, I went ahead and converted it to the alloy blast furnace recipe. And then I was like, if we're going to have so many ingots in here, especially some of these are like pretty expensive, like osmiridium, uh, rhodium plated palladium as well as something we're going to want in here. Hold on. Why do we not have that? Also, how do you have a liquid plated, whatever, I'm not going to ask questions. Anyways, uh, so let's see, rhodium plated palladium. This is going to be something we're going to need a lot of in the LUV age. So there we go. That's in the list now too. Um, Basically, I went ahead and I designed a multi-block here. I mean, it is more or less just the alloy blast smelter, but I have four of them joined together at the corner. And let me show you an interesting little thing I did in here. So if we go inside of the furnace, it's off, so it's okay to break in here. We will see, and there's our HSS ingots I ordered in the intro there, that this is a muffler hatch, but I have my controller here, and the controller's upside down. So we've tilted multi blocks in weird orientations before. Like I had the my titanium EBF laying down, right? But now we have just another multi block standing on top of it, and funny enough, the muffler hatch actually works in this orientation because the muffler hatch, it doesn't need to be pointing a specific way. It just needs to have an air block in front of it. So this muffler block is also shareable. If we go to the alloy blast furnace, I remember in other versions of GregTech, a lot of the time the muffler hatch is not shareable, but if you look on the description here, it says multi-block sharing enabled. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to use that then. And then one other interesting thing I did here is that you can see here I have a interface and it's touching a input bus, and that input bus is on a layer that's touching all four of these blast furnaces. And then on the other side, I have a ME output hatch so that it can queue the fluids into the ME system that feeds the vacuum freezer over here. But you're probably wondering, okay, how do you get the fluids in here? I see a phantom face, a phantom liquid face over here. I actually have if I break in here, there's a quadruple input hatch kind of buried inside of the machine, so you can't actually access this from outside. Right, I'm going to break this and this. So there's the input bus that the interface pushes into right here. This is the output hatch that outputs, and this is not like you can't even get to it from outside, but it's just teleporting the liquids into there. And then it works, so it's like, hey, whatever. That's fine. Kind of needed access to all those fluids at the same time. I also scaled up the vacuum freezer here, so now there's 4 vacuum freezers here. And kind of similar situation here. I used the middle layers, and I also, over here, I did the same trick. I have this quadruple input hatch in the middle of all the vacuum freezers. You can't even get in there normally, but that's actually where it receives the fluids from over there. I'm just teleporting it in via a phantom face. The output bus is below this phantom face, and this phantom face is sending the output items into the interface that's under this. Here's our input buses with the plate, not plate, the ingot molds. So because there's 4 here, they're able to share those input buses on these 2 are sharing that one and these 2 are sharing this one. And then there's a lot of other funny stuff going on here. Like there is an input and output hatch here This catches helium gas that is used to cool ingots, and then it puts it back into here to process it. Same on this side. And then on the bottom, we are using a bigger input hatch here that catches liquid helium when liquid helium is processed. So here's the liquid helium from these two. Here's the liquid helium that comes out of these two. And then over here, I set up this simple system with integrated dynamics here. It just reads the input tank up here. So right here, you can see the 13 buckets of liquid helium. That's what we're reading in here. You can see the 13 buckets there. It's reading that, and it's just saying, is that tank empty? And if that tank is empty, it puts some helium into one of those input hatches up there. And that's all it does. Also, one other thing I've done for power is that these are sharing energy input hatches, but I'm using 4 amp energy hatches. And what that's allowing us to do is that it's allowing us to have less input hatches. In fact, the 4 amp energy hatches, it was a lot cheaper to just make 4 of these than to make 8 of these, because this is the expensive part of this recipe. This is not that much more expensive. This is like 2 tungsten ingots and then 4 tungsten ingots and then 2 tungsten steel plates. But we only need 4 of them instead of 8 of them. So and because these are 4 amps, these are getting 8 amps of IV. That's 2 amps of LUV, so it can do LUV recipes on both of those. Same on this side, and then I'm doing the same on the alloy blast smelters here. It's just that here these bottom 2 are being powered here on the bottom, and then we go back up top. Up here, I have just another connection to power these 2 up here. Again, sharing the power, because it has enough power to power both of them. Whenever we're doing multi-block sharing like that in the future, I'll probably look to do that, because we can save a lot of what's it called? Input hatches if we do that. Like here, instead of having all of this mess, I could have had 1, 2 here, and then 3 here, 4 here, 5 here, so I could have had 10 instead of what do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, I wouldn't even need 10, because we'd have 2 here, and that would cover these 2. Then we'd skip this one, then we'd have 2 here, and skip this one, then we'd have 2 here. So we'd have 6 instead of 12, yeah. So we could have saved a bunch of input hatches, but those are already set up, and I'm not going to mess with them now. But when we upgrade that to the next tier of power, I'll definitely consider upgrading it in that manner. Anyways, what else? Did I mention everything over here? More or less, that's how this is set up. Spent quite a bit of time doing this, so it's probably not something you wanted to watch me do. Still using the same subnetwork system over here. We have this green wire that's getting the fluids out of the ABS, putting it into this phantom phase, which is that quad hatch I showed you in the middle of the vacuum freezer. And then any fluids that are allowed, not these fluids, go into the vacuum freezer, and these fluids go into our system. So anyways, that was kind of what I did between episodes. I also, like how I call that minor ABS expansion. I also moved my wireless access point. So you remember I had one over here. Instead of just having one over here with like a pathetic range, I have one over here now. This is near our alloy blast smelter. There's one over here with a pathetic range. And then all the way on the other side of the base, there is another one over here with a pathetic range. So we have 2 pathetic ranges put together, makes a not so pathetic range. So we can now, reach this on the roof. We can go over here and we can still reach it. Still reach it. Still reach it. Oh, we went out of range there. So this is how far we can reach it from on this direction. And then the other direction is like, it's going to be past the alloy blast smelter, so like around here-ish maybe? Yep, somewhere around here. Yeah, here's our current range. And that's a lot cheaper than putting all of the wireless range cards in one access terminal, because it gets stupid expensive. Like, wireless. Let me show you these boosters really quick, right? So I have, right now we have 20 in there, and it's costing 265 EU per tick for that, and we're getting a range of 40. So if I double the amount of cards in here, we're getting a range of 60, but now it's costing us 2,000 EU per tick. It's like, what? That's insane. If I put all of our cards in here, we're getting a range of 80, which is still pretty pathetic, but then it's costing 4,000 EU per tick. I'm like, oh, buddy, okay, we'll just use 20 and then use multiple of these. They cost a channel, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And if I find places I'm getting out of range constantly, I'll just go ahead and do that. Oh, and then, yeah, this fluid detector, pump, and machine cover I was using before, since the integrated dynamics is kind of replacing the logic for that, I don't need those anymore. All right, so today I wanted to set up I want to set up these guys here, the guys that use this, and I was looking at these structures. So there's 3 multi-blocks that use these stress-proof machine casings. There is the large material press, which we can have set up as a metal bender, or a compressor, or a forming press, or a forge hammer. I feel like we don't really need a multi-block forge hammer or forming press. We definitely need the metal bender, and compressor would probably be like a nice to have. So I'm gonna build 2 of these. But I was looking at this, and I was like, I feel like if we flipped this upside down, which we can't do here in the preview, but if we flip this upside down and then kind of had it joined here on this side, they would be able to share all of the blocks. So I think we could share sides, and then I was also looking at these other multi-blocks. So this is the large extruder, that's what we made last time that I didn't set up. But I was looking at this and I'm like, this also has a big side here of stress-proof machine casings. I think we could conceivably, have that multi-block share against this face right here. And there's one more, the large wire factory, another one we want. And we can definitely also have this face down here share on this large thing. So we're definitely going to be setting all of these up. But let's go ahead and build the multi-block structures. So it's gonna be kind of hefty build, so I'm gonna do it over here. And let me go ahead, I have already made one of them. I've made I have the large extrusion machine and the large material press, which we're gonna need 2 of, but because these take a compressor, which I'm gonna take my compressor I have down, a forming press, I'm gonna take mine down, and then a forge hammer, I have an extra one in my inventory right now because we don't have one set up. And then the bending machine, I'm going to take my bending machine from there down. But for now, we have one of them. So this is going to... Where do I want to have this? We have this kind of elevator block here. Let me just scoot it like maybe the same distance away here. So this is going to be our large material press, and I guess it can be the metal bender or the compressor. It doesn't matter which we do over here. But the structure of this one's going to go all the way over here, right? Here, let me get some of these, what are they called? I already forgot what they're called. Sturdy machine casings? Stress-proof. Stress-proof machine casings. Okay. And I made a couple extra. I think we're going to need more than this, but this is going to get us started. So there are... Let me change the layer here because I cannot see what I'm looking at. There we go. See, I put one way back here because I couldn't see what I was looking at. So these go like this. And the idea is that on this side, we're going to have this one facing this direction. And then I can have another controller over here, like this, facing... Are you ready for this? Turn it upside down. Facing that direction. Yeah? But this is actually out of alignment, I think, here. Wait, no, this is correct. That's where I had the structural glass before, right? These three middle blocks for the glass. So I had my controller here. Oh no. So these three. So that would mean the controller for this side would come out all the way over here. Okay. So then the controller goes over here. Flip it upside down. And hey, okay, so these should all share blocks here, and then this middle layer is these gearbox casings. I forget what they are. Gearbox? They're these steel gearbox casings, right? Yeah, so we need 3 of these guys. Apparently we don't know how to make steel gears anymore. Steel gear, please. Extruder. Gear. So we need to craft 2 sets of stuff for that. The gears, oh man, the gears are going to take forever. Where's the gear extruder? Let's just come preemptively speed it up. Alright. Nope, we did not quite get the order in fast enough to craft 3 of them. We don't have steel gearbox, right? No, we only have tungsten steel gearbox. Alright, so we got to get 1 more of those. Alright, so we only need 3 of those, so let me put that one away. So this is going to be our... That's not correct. This is going to be our center. And then we need structural glass. Was it structural glass? I think it was actually a different kind of glass. Tempered glass. I feel like that shouldn't take long. Nope, that was like very fast. So there's the tempered glass. And then the basically the multi-block is going to be built all around this. So these is going to be sharing the 2 sides of the machine are going to be sharing all of these blocks in the middle here. And then all of the blocks that are on this side and back, and then this side and back are going to belong to these machines. So these will be like, any blocks up here are going to be shared. So we want to make sure we are careful when we are building along those. And then we also have our large extruder. So large extrusion machine, and this one has a funny shape as well. It's kind of shaped like an L. There we go. But once again, we can have it share a bunch of the blocks with this guy. So all of these blocks here are going to be shared blocks. We can then do the titanium casing and then 3 more tempered glass, or 4 more tempered glass. And titanium pipe casing. Wait, titanium. Do we not have titanium pipe casing? I guess we must not have ever made that. I thought it was... Okay, I thought it was used for the large combustion engine, but I guess not. So we can make all of that. We need 4 of them, so go ahead and whip up 2 of those. Please move, I can't see the items in JEI. Alright. Alright, there's those 4. And go ahead, shift-click this. Alright. So all of these blocks from here are going to belong to that. And then let's... do I want to do the wire factory now? You know, one thing I think I will do, we have 4 IV energy hatches. I'm gonna want 2 energy hatches for these, but again, they can share hatches. So I think I'm going to do the same thing we did over there with sharing the hatches, so we can use less hatches between more machines. So let's go ahead and get IV energy 4 amp hatches. I'm just going to convert the 4 we have. So that should be a pretty quick conversion. It just needs to make the wires. And then the assembler recipe here takes like 3 seconds or something. Alright. And then we need the wire mill, but before we make our wire mill into the multi-block wire mill, I kind of want to make sure we're like all set, so that I'm not like a wire mill list temporarily. The wire mill is going to go here, though. So the wire mill is going to be a little weird because the wire, it's called the wire factory, right? Yeah, large wire factory. The large wire factory has this shape here. So this shape is actually the side we want to block share with. So it's going to be sharing 5 blocks. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's actually going to come out 1 block further past the compressor on this side. And then it has this funny shape on the top. I don't know why it's shaped like this, but it's gonna be... Oh, and then also, hang on, I think there was a gearbox casing inside of it as well. Yeah, 2 titanium gearbox casing. I think we actually do have those. Titanium gearbox casings, we sure do. So those are gonna go... I don't have the multi-block in hand, so I can't really see where they're gonna go yet. They're gonna go right here. Whoops, wrong block. There we go. They're going to go there. This is going to be an open block, and the controller is going to be sitting here facing upwards. So the shape of this multi-block, this is what the shape is going to be. It's going to be, no, that's an air block. Something like, and this is going to be the controller. So it's like this. Like that, right? Or is it the other way around? I think it's the other way around. Yeah, this looks correct. So I'm like turning my head in real life trying to flip this image in my head. So 3 on the top and then 2 on the bottom. So that's the top. So that's going to be 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Yep, that's what it looks like. So the controller would go there, and then we'd have all the buses and everything all over the place. Pretty neat, right? Anyways, let's go ahead and finish building this, I guess. I can preview this so I can fill in the rest of the blocks here. Now these machine casing blocks are actually kind of pricey, and we are going to have input buses and output buses and all that fun stuff kind of using some of these blocks, so I don't think we need to make too many more of these. But like I said, I don't want to be in a situation where we need our machine and then, hey, our machines are all off. Whoopsie. So let me think. I'm looking to see what we need to do. Let me, I guess, go underneath and start hollowing out the ground under this machine. Let's go ahead and go to our drill. Let's make sure it's a reasonable size. This should be safe to just punch through the soil right here. All right. That was not a disaster. So our extruder is going to be underneath here. And then our extruder is going to be shaped like this. So our extruder is going to be shaped like how it is now. Okay, so that's going to be the edge of the wire mill there. And then that goes one more block, right? Wait, no, this is correct. Okay, so this is going to be the wire mill. Why is there a random block missing down here? Probably just because I didn't finish building it. Alright, and then this is going to come over here. So our wire mill should... Oops, I went too far. Oh well. And I've gone too far on this side too. Okay. So this is the bottom of this multi-block. This side will get filled in, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish digging that out. Okay, so this is the bottom of our entire multi-block. So let's figure out where this is sharing walls exactly. So this is going to be, let me get something like redstone. This is going to be our metal bender over here. So the metal bender goes to here, and then it turns this way. So that's the metal bender. The wire mill goes to here, and then it turns back that way. I'm not going to draw the whole line around that. The wire mill, not the wire mill, the extruder. That's what it is, sorry. The extruder is going to be everything that's to the top left of the line here. The compressor is going to be in this corner, and the compressor is going to go here and here. So this block over here is not part of the compressor. This is part of the wire mill only. But the compressor is going to come like this. So this is the compressor's area, and it's going to come over here and overlap that part of the metal bender. And then the wire mill is basically this block and then everything, up and right from this redstone. So that's going to be all of the spaces we have to work with it, both shared and unshared. Let's go find the coordinate of this block really quick. This is 57 minus 31. So 57 minus 31. Okay, so this block shares the connection with all three machines. All four machines, rather. These three blocks do, actually. Because that's where all three of them are overlapping on this one point right here. So, we can put like an output bus, an output hatch. No, an ME output bus is what we want there. We can put that in there. None of these machines use fluid, so don't have to worry about that. Wait, does the compressor? Hang on. Compressor. Does the compressor make fluid? You better not. No, it only makes items. Okay, so all of these things only make items. Wire mill only makes items. Extruder only makes items. And the bending machine only makes items. So we're not really going to be able to get into that tile there. We can't teleport stuff in. I mean, I guess we could teleport stuff in, but it would be shared between all four machines, and we don't know what it would do. So we're not going to do that. But this is going to be an output bus here. And then as far as sharing power, let's see. These two tiles share power with the extruder and what's it called? I wish I had a few more blocks here. Where did I even get this block from? From the bottom, didn't I? Okay. So this is sharing the extruder and the wire mill. This is the wire mill and compressor here. This is the bending machine and extruder. So if I want to have the least number of energy hatches, we would want to have something like we would either need to do extruder. How about we do this? Okay, we can do these two blocks. That would be the wire mill here and the extruder here. And then on this side, we can just do like any two of these blocks would be the any two of these blocks over here should be both the compressor and the bending machine. So we can do something like this, but this block we want to have as our output bus. So if we have an output bus, it's going to have a cable coming out of it. I guess, you know, this needs to be here, but this doesn't need to be here. So let's do this. Let's scoot this back here. So this can be our output bus, and then our cable can kind of be installed here, and then it can go down and over, and then it can go like that, so it's not doing a weird zigzag through the middle there. Yeah, I think that's gonna look okay. IV energy hatch. Plop, 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 plop. And then we need an ME output bus. Input bus? I guess I don't have the output bus automated, but once again, this is just a easy screwdriver craft here once this input bus is done. All right, there's our output bus. Okay, so the cables will then go. How many more stellar alloy cables do I have? 4, huh? I need 5 here. I guess, can I craft some? I've been using this cable more than I thought, even though I made all that Terra steel. All that Terra steel would require me to use diodes everywhere, and I'm just like, you know what? We don't need to use them diodes. We can just, you know, tap directly into the wires. Which is, like, fine. It's just, you know, it's just a different approach. Okay. And get my wire cutters, connect all this stuff up. All right, and then we just put a flux point here, and these will all be powered up. Flux point. How many channels do we have over here? I forget. On this line. This line pulls 24 channels, huh? So we have 8 channels to work with all 4 of these machines? That is not going to do. We're going to need more channels than that. So tell you what, I think what I want to do is I want to separate this line right here, and I want to peer-to-peer, or point-to-point a different set of channels over here. So let me go ahead and make some spaghetti over here. Point-to-point tunnel. Why did I make this blue and that red? Like, what the heck was I thinking? Very silly of me. Where's my color applicator? Just gonna make them all red. Alright, so that's all red, and then I'm gonna get some smart cables here. I'm gonna paint these before I place them, otherwise they're gonna get very upset with my wire over here. Gonna go ahead and break that. Let me paint one more cable here. Could have also chiseled them, but I'm like, I had the paintbrush. So this is connecting over here, and then I want it to come up. Paint, break, place. And then this needs to be a point-to-point, not a direct connection like this. That's just going to take all of the channels here. Well, there's only 3 channels going down that way so far, but I want more channels than that. So let's go to get my point-to-point I made. Slap it on here. And then I'm going to get my memory card. I'm like, my brain is not working right now. Probably should go to sleep. It's kind of late, you know? I'm looking for a not set. Oh, I'm looking at a bunch of not set ones. Here we go. Bind input. All right. Our controller's right under here. That's kind of funny. All right, so this should fire up some channels. There we go. And this is only using 1 channel now. All right, and just because I just messed with our network, I'm going to go ahead and reset my interfaces here. All right. So now we have a bunch of channels over here to play with. Probably going to need more dense cables, though, so let me go ahead and get more of those out. Probably this whole trunk have it be dense cables, because we don't know where and when we're going to have all of these channels coming out over here. Why is there a hole here? All right. So now the question is, do we think we can do this with 8 channels? And I'm going to say no, because right now we have 8 extruders, and I want more extruders than that. So we're going to need more than 8 channels coming over here. So let me just get a dense line over here. And where are we going with this? We need to go... So this is our extruder. This middle line is basically going to be like do not touch zone. Maybe I should just block off the do not touch zones. Here we go. That's probably a good idea. So do not touch there. This one is do not touch here. This one is do not touch there, or... Hang on, I'm lost. Yeah, do not touch here either. Really? This shape? This seems incorrect. Hold on, I need to go look at it from up top. Okay, so these are fine. These are do not touch these 2 right here. That one is fine to touch. And so these 4 are fine to touch over here for the wire mill inputs. Assuming we put all the inputs on the bottom. However, our power plug is kind of blocking some pathways here. I guess can't really do anything about that. Trying to think here. We're going to have a lot of room on the bottom of the extruder. Yeah, actually, because I know I was like, we just set it up like this, but we're going to have a lot more room over here to work with on this side of this block, so I'm going to move these 2 over here. Multi-block design is hard, man, don't you know? Okay, so we're going to have our cables be here. These are better utilizing the no man's land of the compressor and the not compressor, whatever it's called. Bending machine, that's what it's called. Okay. And go ahead and hook up the output bus. All right, and it is online. So, okay, let me go ahead and fill this back in. So this is no man's land right there, that block is. But these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks over here are all good to use on the wire mill. These are going to be all available for the compressor. Wait, no, not all of them. Only these four are for the compressor. But the compressor is not going to have a lot of recipes, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so this is wire mill. This is the wire mill axis. This is the compressor axis. Let's go over here. This is our bending machine, huh? How many bending machine recipes do we really use? Not recipes, but circuit-wise. So we don't use 4 in the bending machine, right? I guess here we can look at all of the bending machine recipes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Bending machine. So we know we use 1, so I don't even need to look at 1. Do we use 2 in the bending machine? Metal bender, 2. We do use this for a couple of things. So we need 1 and 2. Let me bookmark the things I need. 3 in the metal bender. Metal bender 3. We don't really make these, so we can skip 3. 4 in the metal bender. We do not make that one single recipe. 5 in the metal bender. It's not here. 6. Not here. 7. Not here. 8. I know we use 8 in the wire mill a lot, but not the metal bender. 9. Dense neutronium plate. Do we use that for something? Not in any capacity we care about. We don't use that. Quantum chest, quantum tank. I'm looking at this. Dense obsidian, not the dense tungsten steel, I mean. We don't really need that, but there's no other way to make it, so I guess we'll technically need 9, but not for a lot of things. Rhodium, plated palladium also would be for quantum chest 2 and quantum tank 2. And then this quantum chest plate, which I don't know if we're going to end up making, but it is a consideration. Dense nakoda alloy, quantum chest, and tank 3, as one would expect. Dense Darum stadium, quantum chest 4, okay. Dense tantalum carbide. Oh, we actually need that right now. That's funny. For the large laser engraving machine. Cool. So we will be needing 9. But I don't know if we need to dedicate a hatch to it, you know what I mean? We can maybe just use a program circuit for those recipes. So we're on, what are we on right here? We're on recipe 10. Where's bending machine? Oh yeah, recipe 10 is our foils and stuff. We definitely need that. And then 11 is a no. 12, what are we making 12? We can make buckets, empty cells. That's it. Okay. I mean, maybe we'll want to make buckets. For not buckets. For buckets, we do a lathe, an iron block. The lathe is fine. 13, 14, 15, 16. What is 16 in the wire mill? Oh, it's the 16X wires, duh. 19, 20. Yep, okay, so it looks like the recipes are 12. We don't care about any of the 12 recipes. So 1, 2, 9, and 10. So I think we're going to be using 1 and 10. Not 2, just 1 and 10 we're going to be using extensively. But 2 and 9 we're not going to be using that often. I think it would probably just be fine to make 2 and 9 be one of those that are controlled with a what's it called? A thingamabobber. Control circuit board. Not controlled circuit board. A gosh, I'm forgetting the name. Program circuit card. There we go. So we can use a program circuit on one of these, and then the other one is just going to be there. It's just going to exist. So let's get input bus. I'm just gonna make like, no, we don't need to make a bunch of EV input buses. What am I saying? Let's make a bunch of, okay, maybe not 32, maybe like 10 LV input buses. I imagine those should craft pretty quickly. What is the bottleneck? The steel plates? Yeah, surprisingly, actually. All right, so here we go. Let me have these be actually more like this. Is that the controller? That is the controller. Okay. So let's do plop, plop, and plop. This will be, I don't know, I'm just going to put 32 in there to remind myself that one needs to be the program circuit one. So that's going to be 9 and 2. And then this one, we're going to put 1 over here and then 10 over here. And those are going to be set, and those are not going to use program circuit cards. And the reason for that is because if we use a program circuit card, we have to use blocking mode. And if we're using blocking mode, we can't just flood the machine full of a bajillion items because then it can't run in parallel. So these machines have a functionality where we can run them in parallel by giving them one of these parallel control hatches. So it allows up to X parallel recipes, and then there's higher tiers of this. There is there's the IV one, which is 4 parallels. Then there's a 16 parallel with the LUV one, 64 with the ZPM, and then 256 with the UV, if we even get to that one. So we are definitely going to want to be able to utilize those parallels. However, we're not going to be able to utilize the parallels if we're using blocking mode. So that's why I'm having dedicated hatches over here. Wire mill. So wire mill has a few recipes. Let me go look and see what's in our current wire mill. I think I'm just making 1, 2s, and fine wires. So wire mill. Yeah, so I'm making 1, 2, and fine wires. I think that's fine because any bigger wires we can just craft up into using our, expansive space we have in our molecular assembler. We're just starting page 7 now, and we have like 9 empty spaces in here. If I need to add more spaces, there's so much room in there for that. I don't think our system liked me doing that. Hello, please turn back online. Thank you. Okay, everything's still in there. I got scared for a second. Yeah, so I think just an input hatch 1 and 2 is fine, and if we like are needing like a absolute boatload of some other cables, we can use something else. So let's do a 1 and a 2 down here. Let's do 1 and 2. Oh, and 3, of course. We will need 3. And maybe I'll put a 4 down here, just in case we want a 4. Okay, so... let me do just 1, 2, 3, 4. And you know there's no reason I can't just put input buses down here and not use them. So the last ones we would be using would be 8 and then 16. So those will exist. I don't know if we're going to use them because they will cost channels if we use them, but they're just going to exist for now. All right, and finally the extruder. This is going to be the fun part. This is going to be the one that has a lot of stuff in it. So for the extruder, we're going to have a bunch of things. So let me go get all of the shapes we're going to want. I'm not going to take them out of these machines again because I think we're still going to need these machines temporarily. But let me just go ahead and get a head count on shapes that we might want. And what other shapes might we want? Let me look through extruder recipes really quick. Extruder shape. So do we want bottles? Probably not. Do we want foils? No, this is only for like rubber type foils, and we're going to do that in the bending machine 1. We do want small gears. That's in our list. Long rods is something I want. So let me move this up. So this is stuff we already have right now. And then stuff in... Whoops. Move it up again. Stuff in this new list is going to be stuff we're going to add. So long rod I definitely want so that we can save... I guess save a lathe recipe for something that we need only as a long rod, but we don't need it as regular rods. If we need it both as regular rods and a long rod, then we can just make the lathe do it and then hammer it. So, but there are some things I needed a long rod. A large pipe I have, right? Oh, wait. Yeah, I do have large pipe. Okay. Small pipe. Is small pipe a thing that we need anything for? Let me look through the recipe. Okay, I did in fact find a recipe we need small pipe for. This neural processing unit is only craftable using the small PBI pipe, and this only has a recipe from the extruder, so we do need small pipe. Let's see here. So small pipe is now in our list to be added. Let's go back to extruder shape. And tiny pipe. Okay, here we go again. Tiny pipe. Let me look through these one more time. I do see tiny stainless steel fluid pipe used for computer vent and HPCA active cooling component. Gosh, I have no idea what those are for. But we can make the stainless steel pipes with the plates, which we're already making. So let me just go ahead and keep looking to see if there's any other things we actually need that we can't otherwise get. And the tooltip's blocking my view. Okay, so that'd be the only reason we need tiny pipes, so we don't really need tiny pipe extruder. Wire, we have the wire mill for, so we're not going to do that one. Ingot is only for a few blocks. It is for... I'm using it for making, I think, polyethylene bars or something like that. Because something, I forgot what it was, but something needed polyethylene bars. Yeah, it was this. To make the PTFE pipe casings, we needed rods, and to make the rods, we needed the bars. Okay. So, and the rod, speaking of the rod, let's see, there's also a cell extruder. We don't need that. We do need ring. The ring's already in our list, though, so... Bolts in our list. So rod. So the thing with rods is that we can make them in the lathe for the same amount of time, and I believe that's like for any metal, except it's a lower tier in the lathe, so the lathe's always going to be better than the cutting machine, so... Not the cutting machine, sorry, the extruder. Yeah, you can see here it's 9.8 seconds regardless of which method, except one is HV and one is LV, so one we can overclock more. And then the last one would be plate. What would we want to make with plate that we can't already do? I think the answer is nothing, because we already make all of the plates we want via the fluid solidifier for like rubber type plates, like epoxy resin plate sheet rather. That starts as a sheet because we cast it like this, right? So I don't think we need that. So we only need 10 input buses for our extruder. Well, only 10. I mean, it's kind of a lot. So we need to craft up 8 more of those. I need to give them a home here. So this is going to be where our flux point is going to sit. I can actually go ahead and put it in. Input bus. So flux point, you are going to sit here, and you are going to be the, I don't know, these are just going to be the stress-proof machines. Please don't blow up. Okay, thank you. So all the stress-proof machines are now powered. And we need to knock 10 of these out for extruder shapes. Okay, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, well, that was 10 actually. Okay then. I think that's all we need. And then I just need to put the shapes in there. And up here, I can go ahead and fill this in. I believe the inside of that block is hollow there. Okay, so this should be structure formed. Yes, okay. Max tier LUV. Our metal bender here is ready to go. Oh, we didn't do our compressor over here. Silly me. So the compressor is, compressor does not use program circuits, so that's just one single input bus. Input bus, whoops. All right. All right, so we're gonna need a handful of channels here. Let me pull our, whoops, pull our dense cable here. How many channels are on this line again so far? 4 channels, so we have 28 channels. We don't need that many, but it's good to know we have them, I guess. So we can come straight here for these hookups. We're gonna need to go a little this way with the dense cable. Let's see, for this one, we can just pull from there. So let's go just this way. So for these, I'm going to do, let's do something like this. Where's my cable painter? All right, let's do, how about purple? All right, and then here, let's do like cyan. All right, so this takes 6 channels on this side, and this one's going to take 4 channels for a total of 10. Here, I'm gonna put all the cables, but we're not gonna put all the interfaces until we actually need them. I guess for some uniformity, I'm gonna connect that there instead. And this is a simple connection here, and then this is 3 cables here. And then have just another set of smart cables come over like that. Okay, so this is going to be 3, 13. What did we say we're using here for now? 3 of them, so 16, 17. So this is going to be 17 channels over here, plus the output bus, which is already counted. So 17 plus 4 should put us at 21 channels on this line. I think we're going to need a new line over here soon already, because I'm going to put more multi-blocks this way, and then it's just going to be like, hey, guess what? We're out of lines. And then I'm going to be like, oh no. I could potentially just keep running this line over there, though, but I'm probably going to end up doing some other technology once I am ready. Anyways, let's get our interfaces going here. So what did I say? 17? 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, 17 interfaces. Interface. Hey, we had exactly half of that, so. All right. Just start plopping these interfaces down. We're going to have to name all of these, but I'm not going to start naming them until I know what's in those hatches. And none of those are going to be in blocking mode. We're only doing, oops. I guess we're going to be doing 18, actually, huh? Because I forgot. I miscounted one of the wire mills here. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then 4 on the side, right? So this is 4, 1, 2, and 3. And this is our compressor. Okay, let's go ahead and give these all a name, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and call it for here. Probably go ahead and finish setting the rest of this up off camera, like making sure I have enough materials to like finish all of these crafts, finish the compressor over here on this side, actually build the wire mill, you know, all that fun stuff. So let's just finish naming these interfaces for now, and then we are going to cut it there. So this is going to be a program circuit card. I know we don't really need to make one right now, but it's like we will probably need this somewhere else eventually at some point. Even though when we discontinue our current, I think our assembler is jammed. When we discontinue our current setup over here, we're going to get a bunch of them back from those interfaces that we no longer need. But, all right, so program circuit card. This is our vending MB. Actually, I'm just going to call this circuit number, like C#, but it's actually for like, it's just a new notation I just now made up. Okay, so this is bending C10, and this is bending C1. All right, over here we have wire mill C1, wire, I'm just going to call these wire, and then wire C3, wire C4 here. Here, this is going to be compressor MB, multi-block. And then these, I don't know what's going to be what yet. I guess I could go ahead and name them, right? So we're going to have pipe, I should call it extrude. Extrude, put that on the clipboard. Extrude pipe. We can have extrude small pipe, aka spipe. So we have small pipe. Whoops. Small pipe, we have pipe. We need L pipe. All right, we need extrude ingot. So let me take ingot and L pipe out. We need extrude rotor. Extrude ring. Get those off my list. Extrude small gear. Extrude gear. And then we need bolt and long rod. Extrude bolt and extrude L rod. All right. There we go. I'm just going to have to look at the interface before I put these things in here. Yeah, I kind of want to do some test graphs here. I guess, you know, we have the extruder set up. Why don't I just... The extruder's, like, working, allegedly. I don't have the parallel hatches, though. What do we need for this? Parallel... It's kind of a nasty recipe. Do we have emitter? We do have emitter. How about sensor? Okay, we have both of those. Can we make parallel hatch then? Gonna need 4 of them. We don't have platinum 2x cable. 2x platinum. Let's make platinum 2x first. And then we need platinum 2x cable in the assembler with SBR. Okay, now we should be able to make a parallel hatch. Let me just go ahead and do 1 to make sure our junk works. Wow, what on earth is taking so much resources? I just like look over and it needs like hundreds of copper. I guess we have... Oh yeah, we have 4 LUV circuits in here, so those are taking... Like these take a bajillion annealed copper to make. They take 20 annealed copper foil each. Okay, well, I will continue having the thing paused. Oh yeah, we need sensors too, which need IV circuits. Oh yeah, so we just needed a lot of circuit boards. Is what it is, I guess. This is a brutally long craft. Brutally long craft. Nice. Can't wait for our multi-blocks here to be set up. Almost done though, so we will be here done shortly. Here done shortly, yes. Words. At least using these advanced SMD chips makes the recipes twice as fast, so if we weren't using those, they'd be going at half the speed. That would suck, right? Still feels like this is taking forever, though. Here, we can speed these up. These do not use a lot of power. Ah, yes. There we go. Now we're crafting with circuits. I'm like about ready to fall asleep here, so I'm going to make sure I request more parallel control hatches before I log off here for the evening. But let's go ahead and toss this up there. Maximum parallel of the multi-block. Why are you not taking the... Do you not take the color of the multi-block? That's kind of weird. Maybe I want it like somewhere slightly less visible then. Like here for, whoop. Here, for instance. So it says structure incomplete, toss that there, structure formed. Oh, now it took the structure. Why did it not take the structure before? Oh, okay. No, that looks fine now. Okay. I don't know why it was not taking the color. All right, let's get our shapes. Shape or mold. I'm going to need 2 more because I will. Please make another one. Please stop taking my file away. Please, it's the correct item. All right, we need a small pipe, we said is a new one. Small pipe. And a longer rod. All right, and then we just need to take all of our shapes from in here, which I'm going to... Am I gonna magnet juggle them? No, let me clean some inventory space really quick. Okay, there we go. That's enough inventory space. Let me go ahead and take all of my extruders here. I can just like go ahead and take the extruder, take the interface too. I'm gonna take all you guys. Oh yeah, I totally forgot all the patterns are in that too. Well then, I definitely don't have enough inventory space for that. Oh well. We will address that problem right now. Alright, so large pipe, where did I put this one again? Ring. This is going to be a little annoying, isn't it? The ringing for the next, I don't know how long. Small pipe. Where's the battery? Or not the battery, the ring rotor. Pipe. Apparently I have 2 of this recipe. Interesting, I don't know how that happened. Okay, here's my gear molds. So you are ingot. I don't have the ingot mold. It's probably on the floor somewhere. Where's gears? Okay, here. Gear goes in here. And this one is small gear. Am I holding bolts? Here's bolts. I have a bunch of bolt patterns in my inventory. I have ingot molds. If this looks horrible, trust me, it is. Ingot mold, bolt mold. You just want to make sure those don't despawn or something. Let me also condense all of these interfaces back into regular ones. Fix one of those patterns. Okay, you've seen me do this for long enough, so I'm gonna finish doing the rest of it off camera. Okay, maybe not all of it, but most of it off camera. So I got all of the extruder shapes in there finally, and I'm just taking the rest of my patterns over here. Turn off my magnet again. Where's the dang thing? Here it is. So that I can just shove them in here like this. So I can go to extrude and just start, slotting them in like this. So I have a bunch of pipes, go to pipe, and there goes pipe. Pipe, 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 pipe. Then we got some rings here, right? So get a couple of the rings. Then we have some small gears, so get those. Then we got some, we don't have any small pipes yet, so that's not going to be relevant yet. We've got some L rod. No, we don't have L rod. We have some L pipe right here. We have another pipe that just popped into our inventory. We have our ingot. Gears. This is like super exciting, right? It's actually like a little therapeutic, but I'm starting to worry that the patterns under my feet might start disappearing if I don't hurry up. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we are done filling our inventory with random junk. Let us go through the rest of these. Can't scroll while holding shift, so I keep having to release shift to scroll down. Alright, fluid pipes. And rotors. Alright, there we go. So, let's do a test craft. What were we complaining about being really slow earlier? Some kind of rotor. What kind of rotor were we crafting? What were we crafting exactly? I cannot remember. Like, was it tungsten steel rotors? What would we have been crafting? Oh, it was steel rotors for mufflers. Let's do some steel rotors. How long could 32 steel rotors possibly take, right? Oh, they're done. But they're not in our system. Why? ME output bus. Uh-oh. Where did they go? Hmm. This is a problem. So they crafted, they went somewhere, and we can't find them. We are back troubleshooting. Oh, I figured out the problem. So you remember how in these machines they have a mode called distinct buses? Yeah, so we just put a bunch of steel ingots in here, and they got mixed with some random, uh, freaking, they got mixed with some random, extruder shape. So we go look in our storage. What do we have a bunch of that we didn't request? I don't remember requesting long steel rods. And we can't autocraft those. We have... We're sorted by number of items, so... Oh yeah, look at this. Large steel fluid pipes. I definitely did not request that many of these. And like, why would I? Right? So that's just gonna go into macerator. We can use the steel dust anyways. For stuff and things, like black steel and HSS something rather. Black steel, blue steel, red steel, vanadium steel, tungsten steel. Oh, that's a good use for it. Tungsten steel, yeah. Let's try this again. Rotor. 32 steel rotors, please. This time do it for actually. Here we go. All right, you can see how fast it is going through those steel rotors, except it's not because I forgot again. It did actually process them this time, but I forgot to put, see, here's some long steel rods, and then here's our steel rotors here. Let's reconnect that back up. I know it's a green cable, that doesn't really make sense, but whatever. There we go. Crafting done. Steel rotors. So some of those are not your steel rotors, by the way, just saying, but sure. Okay, that is nice and fast now. That's gonna do it for this episode. I will finish cleaning up recipes, moving over the rest of the stuff for the wire mill, for the compressor, and then next time we will be doing something else. Maybe setting up another machine, or maybe I'm going to set up the next machine off camera. We will see. The next machine I want to set up is going to be the laser engraver, because I hate juggling all these lenses manually. So, until next time, thank you for watching. I will be back once I am happy with whatever I have set up, but we did make some multi-blocks. Goal accomplished, and I'm going to make some more off camera. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.